Redstone Crafting Machine version 1.0 for Minecraft 1.15.2, made by Superion, and special thanks to supereskimo. Hello fellas, before we get to the demonstration, I'd like to quickly explain what this contraption is. This is a machine that allows us to add our own crafting recipes in vanilla Minecraft without the use of any command blocks. Here you can see the different items we can get for each crafting recipe, each of which being represented by their own gold block. So for example, we could get Den's longbow by using the crafting recipe displayed here. Now that we know what we have here, let's dive into the demonstration. Insert your crafting recipe. Press the button. Watch the items flow into the machine. And now we wait. I recommend standing here to get your item. Although if you don't like that, a chest can be put here instead. And there we have it! Here's a nice look at some additional features. The redstone lamps tell us whether the machine is in use or not. If they are turned on, then that means it's ready to go. If you don't like the lamps being so visible, you can move them down a block and cover them with glass, like this. Additionally, we can put a redstone torch on top of this block to invert the signal if we wanted to do so. I don't like the way this looks though, so I will revert it back to the glass look. We can also remove any of the 4 buttons here. However, at least one button must remain. Here's the chest I mentioned earlier, although it needs an extra dropper underneath to store anything. This is where we store the items that are crafted. The chests don't have to be on the surface, but it might take some work to move them elsewhere. This is where we store any items used to craft whatever item. Now I will go ahead and craft an item so you can see the lights in action. The lights turned off, indicating that the machine is in use. They will turn back on when it's done. This can take a while, so let's move on. Here's a nice and brief tour of what lies under the ground. This circuit has a basic timer to make sure all the items get to their respective hoppers. Additionally, it checks to see if there are 9 items. If so, they are put into minecarts and get checked to see if there are any valid recipes. This here is like the engine. It does all the calculations needed for the machine to function. If the so-called engine were to break for whatever reason, this button might fix it, but it's not guaranteed, depends on the problem. Here you can see a lot of the rails needed for the machine to work. Some of the rails will switch to send minecarts down the appropriate path. The redstone here is divided into modules for each crafting recipe. Assuming all the right conditions are met, these could hypothetically go on forever. Quite surprisingly, there's a lot of space down here. If 9 items are inserted and they don't match a recipe, they are put into this minecart. Once done, it returns the items to the player. Now I'm going to quickly go over some of the different variations this machine went through. What we are looking at now is the final product that you've already seen, but because it's in the air like this, we can get a better look at it. These are some broken up parts that eventually led to the final product. I wasn't happy with how large the machine was, so I wanted to try and compact it some. This is the first version I got to work with a seamless floor. I haven't tested it in a while though, so it could be broken. These are some of the older models I made that required a wall to hide some of the redstone. I believe this is where I experimented with the idea of removing the wall. It was quite challenging, but pretty fun too. This is back when I thought it was a good idea to not color code my redstone. It looks so bad. And we are pretty much back to the beginning. This is when I wasn't using rails. I made the switch because hoppers by themselves seem to be unreliable for what this machine is doing. Now unfortunately, this contraption does have its limitations. For starters, it can only accept 9 items. Any fewer and the items will be returned to the player. Any more and they will be rejected. Furthermore, any non-stackable items will be returned to the player, no matter what. This includes items like bows, swords, and other items of that nature. Another problem is that upon successfully crafting an item, you will never receive more than one of that item. Finally, you can't have more than one recipe that has the same item in the exact same slot. If you want a world download, or you want me to go more in depth, you can find me talk about all the ins and outs on the Planet Minecraft page linked in the description. That's pretty much it, so I guess this is the end of the video. Let me know what you think of this contraption, as I would love to hear any constructive feedback or criticisms. Thank you very much for watching. I hope we can run into each other again in the future. Have a nice day! Oh yeah, don't forget to subscribe. It helps the channel a lot. I really appreciate it. Thank you.